Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely demystify cost behaviors so you can bulletproof yourself against those sneaky trick questions on your accounting exams. If you've ever felt totally lost when test makers start tossing around per unit this and total that, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're locking down the fundamental patterns of how costs react when a business ramps up production or grinds to a halt.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap. We've got 1. The core cost behaviors. 2. Mastering variable costs. 3. Unpacking fixed costs. 4. Mixed costs made simple. And finally 5. The ultimate exam trap.
Section 1. The core cost behaviors. Laying the foundation. We're starting right at the bedrock, because getting this right is crucial for management decisions and honestly absolutely essential for passing your exam.
Now, the biggest takeaway you need to keep in mind throughout this whole explainer is what we call the rule of opposites. To really master cost behavior, you have to constantly contrast how a cost behaves in total versus how it behaves on a per-unit basis. As you'll see, the moment you assume a cost behaves the exact same way in total as it does per unit, bam, you've walked right into a trap. So keep this rule front and center as we go.
All right, Section 2. Mastering variable costs, the power of direct proportions. Let's look at our first building block and see how variable costs actually work in the real world of business.
So what exactly is a variable cost? Well, by definition, it's a cost where the total varies directly and proportionally with changes in volume, but the per unit cost remains constant in the short run. Think about tangible inputs, right? Like sheet metal used to manufacture heavy equipment, or the hourly wages for the welder working on it. The defining trait here is that if production completely stops, these costs drop all the way to zero. I mean, you're obviously not going to buy sheet metal if you aren't making machines.
Now, this perfectly highlights that dual nature rule test makers absolutely love to exploit. In total, the variable cost changes proportionally as you make more units, but, and this is a huge but, the variable cost per unit remains strictly constant in the short run. Let's see this math in motion. Imagine you have direct materials costing exactly $10 per unit. Watch how that $10 per unit cost stays absolutely frozen whether we make 100 units or 10,000 units. Meanwhile, the total cost scales linearly, right from $0 all the way up to $100,000 when we hit 10,000 units. The per unit cost stays as flat as a pancake, while the total cost climbs the stairs.
Moving on to Section 3. Unpacking fixed costs, the unchanging baseline. Time to flip the script entirely and tackle our second building block.
Unlike that sheet metal, a fixed cost is one where the total remains completely unchanged regardless of production, but the per unit cost varies indirectly with activity levels. Think of paying rent on an assembly line facility or paying property insurance. That total bill, it stays exactly the same at the end of the month, even if you produce absolutely nothing and the factory floor just sits there in the dark.
Applying our rule of opposites here, you can see the inverse pattern. For fixed costs, it's the total that is stubborn and unchanging. But since you're dividing that same stubborn total by more and more units as you get busier, the fixed cost per unit actually shrinks. It varies indirectly with your activity level.
Let's put some numbers to it. Imagine you have a $1 million assembly line. If you only produce a single unit, wow, that one unit has to absorb the entire $1 million cost. But look at how rapidly that per unit burden plummets. Ramp up production to 100 units and it's $10,000 per unit. Push it to 10,000 units, and suddenly that exact same $1 million assembly line only costs you $100 per unit. The total never changed, but the per unit cost dropped like a rock.
Section 4. Mixed costs made simple, the hybrid costs. Okay, we've mastered the extremes, so let's combine the pieces and look at what happens right in the middle.
What happens when a cost has a split personality? How do you categorize a piece of machinery rented to improve a production line, where there's a flat yearly fee, but also a usage charge for every single unit you produce? Well, we call this a mixed cost. It's got both fixed and variable elements baked right into it.
Let's break down the math on this one. Say your base rental fee is $150,000 a year. That's your fixed portion. Then you have a $1 variable charge for every unit produced. If you manufacture 10,000 units, your variable portion is $10,000. Add that to the fixed $150,000 base, and your total mixed cost comes out to $160,000. It's simply layer 1 plus layer 2.
Section 5. The ultimate exam trap, beating the test makers. This is the crucial point we've been building toward, how to survive the specific phrasing that causes so many candidates to fail.
Whenever you see a question about cost behavior on your exam, I want you to picture this success tip. Never confuse total cost behavior with per unit cost behavior. Seriously, test makers will purposefully give you information about a total fixed cost and then ask you how the per unit fixed cost reacts. You have to force yourself to identify if the question is asking about total behavior or unit behavior before you even glance at the multiple choice options.
Now, there is one more vital piece of the puzzle to keep you safe, and that's the relevant range. Remember, all these rules only apply within the expected, short-run range of activity where per-unit variable costs and total fixed costs actually remain constant. Why? Because in the really long run, everything is variable. Eventually, rent contracts change or you buy so many materials that bulk discounts kick in. So these steadfast rules are strictly for operations inside that normal, short-run, relevant range.
You'll want to lock these 5 rules into your memory right now, because this is your ultimate cheat sheet for remembering the exact patterns of total versus per unit behaviors. 1. Total variable costs changes. 2. Unit variable cost is constant. 3. Total fixed cost is constant. 4. Unit fixed cost changes. And 5. Mixed cost has both fixed and variable elements. Those 5 rules are pure point scoring power on test day.
So I leave you with this question. When you sit down for that high-stakes exam and the clock is ticking, will you fall into the trap of confusing total and per-unit costs, or will you remember the rule of opposites and use these patterns to confidently pass? Now that you understand the underlying mechanics of how these costs truly behave, you are fully equipped to read carefully, spot the traps, and absolutely conquer this material. Thanks for learning with me today.